Yo, this is Lightning Lab 18. It's May 5th, 2024. Happened right before I turned the iPhone camera on. And since I sync everything up with the iPhone camera, didn't catch the flash, but yeah. About an hour later than Lightning Lab 17 is what it looks like on radar. Yep. So this particular line is coming in from the north and from the west. So, or it's coming in from the west, but it's north of us as well. It's kind of wrapping, I guess, around 610 a bit. Or maybe even the way, whatever. It's coming in from the west, and it's not going to be as much south of us, but I think we'll still catch a good amount of lightning. Like I said, yesterday? No, 2 days ago. Friday, Sunday. So Friday I did yoga for the first time in 3 years, and I do think that there is something to do with my physical, what's going on with me physically, that seems to affect stuff. I think that was a Plaza ground. That way. But it does seem to be that, I think Yahweh is a spirit who has control of all of this, but somewhat of it does seem to be there's enough instances of me doing something where it seems like my right side, exerting through my right side, seems to generate some kind of electrical or lightning response. I mean, it's happened, there's a pattern over years, over hundreds of videos at this point. Lightning labs, at least a year's worth of lightning labs, but prior to that, all sorts of storm videos where I wasn't really recording what was going on with me, but that it was still going on, it was just not recorded. It took me a while to figure out this particular format. will be in that direction too. So. To strike a balance with the iPhone camera. If I put it up too high, it will unfocus itself. If I keep it too low, it's not going to catch everything in that direction. The higher I can keep it, the more it'll catch. The lower I can keep it, the more likely it stays in focus. Ow. You can see the lightning as I press down. God, that hurts. It hurts a lot. That really hurts. That was very obviously timed, as I took all my weight and put it onto my right side. And that is the pattern. How many times, like literally, how many times in a video do I have to do that, where it clearly triggers the lightning? Whether it's a spiritual thing or whether it's like a bioelectricity thing, and I've just been the one to figure it out. How many times do I have to do it before the news covers this? This is not something normal. Who has told the news not to cover the dude in Houston that's doing lightning things? Who's listening to anybody other than me at this point? Considering I seem to be attached not just to the lightning, but to life and death itself, as Jesus has the keys to life and death. Yo. You know, all the stuff that when I'm making those videos about cancer and stuff, it's like, you know, Jesus is about healing too, right? You could come and be healed, but you actually have to, like, stop fighting and, like, engage that Yahweh and Jesus are the ones with the keys to healing. And that, yo, I'm clearly the person most attached to that spirit. Exerting through the right side, far extremity. Trying to make sure the pad of my foot can grip the ground. And then push through the heel. There's literally certain postures in yoga that I cannot do because I've been struck by this, whatever this is, right? I mean, by this Genesis 32 strike. Like, it physically hurts so much. Like, I physically can't even do the posture. Like a lotus position, I can't do lotus. Like, my leg does not stretch the right way to do lotus. I can't force my leg down enough. Talk about the Nation of Islam stuff. This is God body. The body that you see actually affect the weather in reality, that's God body. Yo. I mean, seriously. And talk about wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. The knowledge of Yahweh is the true knowledge. Not a knockoff title of Yahweh becoming its own deity. Speaking about Allah. You know, my question is still, at what point Wait, what level of like control or affecting the weather do I have to exhibit before like the news covers this, right? Like if I send this to the news, no coverage. Even if, like I understand, even if I'm on some kind of Truman Show thing, at some point it just becomes unbelievable that people aren't engaging that there's a dude who's literally affecting the weather. Like this should not be possible. We're over a year into the Lightning Lab videos themselves. There's enough of a pattern in those videos to prove this out, and yet nothing. I see them cover less important stuff on the news every day. And it's killing people that the news is doing this. Yahweh will hold you accountable, surely. So please cover this for your own sake. There is nobody on this planet who you should be listening to more than me when it comes to what's going on here, or just, I'm going to suggest, like, my opinion's pretty valid on everything almost, If I don't know about it, I can learn pretty quickly. Like, especially with the flooding going on in North Houston, like, literally people's lives are being destroyed, the news doesn't want to cover it. Like, is there some reason? Is there a good reason? As I say this guy comes running by, it does feel like people are trying to say, oh, if you're just doing physical therapy before, you gotta be prepped, and it's like, I think the lack of, like, control over this situation is literally part of what is crippling me. So the fact that it's still going on is, like, directly related to me being affected and struck by this. So that excuse isn't gonna work. At this point, it's reasonable enough to experiment with, yeah, okay, put it on the news, see what happens. At what point do people hold the news people here accountable to say, like, why aren't you putting this on the news? Like, who cares about, some homeless person has moved their spot or from here to here, or like it's, this guy is like back in his spot. I mean, that's the most ridiculous kind of story that I've seen covered on the news as compared to, not covering the dude who's affecting the weather. So that's why I bring that one up. I have nothing against, I think the homeless should be fed and housed, but like, it's like, that is not a more important story than this, right? Even the fact that it seems like my account's like shadow banned and like people are using fake accounts to like harass me through the thing. Like I'm connected to some kind of land, but at some point it just like, it's Yahweh just is gonna force the point, like so much. I would suggest this earthquake that's coming up is gonna be like pretty related to that. So that'll be part of the thing that forces the point. Okay, I'm gonna use the restroom really quick. I'll be right back. Enjoy the radar. Here's another thought. I actually think maybe I can affect weather in places farther away more clearly than I affect it here, because as it talks about in the New Testament, there seems to be something to do with the lack of belief around me of people. And I think that's the idea of like, I feel like boxed in by people who are specifically trying to like not believe that this is going on, despite the fact that, okay, it's been going on since I was a child. Your lack of belief maybe is the thing that killed me. But as a child, that's part of it. But anyway, that like Jesus in his hometown has more issues seemingly doing miraculous things than when he travels. And it's because his hometown like looks at him like, oh, it's just, you know, it's just Jesus. That's just Joseph's son, Mary's son, you know? We know them. They're normal. Who does this guy think he is? Jesus? In that day, there would have been, you know, Jews saying like, who does he think he is? Yahweh? And Jesus would have been like, yeah. Yeah. You look at John 17, it's very clear, like Jesus said, like, I have manifested the name which you have given me. I mean, even Jesus' name, Yeshua, or Joshua, Yahweh is salvation. Jah is salvation, right? Yah is salvation. And so, or Yah saves. Like Yeshua would be more like a variant. He saves. And so who is he? Yah. Though he also even goes in like, in English it's translated I am he. And like he's harkening back to the Old Testament things that Yahweh says. Like I am he from eternity. Part of my whole point has been like, okay, I'm doing this and you're seeing it like, I am affecting it, but not to the degree that is like seemingly enough for news coverage, right? But clearly affecting weather elsewhere, and you know, if this has become a problematic situation. It's literally a cancerous situation. Again, though, if you want healing, you can come and say it, and like, you know, just directly ask me to my face, and personally, I would believe and heal you, right? And I guess you would believe too, but. It's one of those things that's like, what amount of like, so doing this and the stuff that's happened in Brazil, and I can't seem to, you know, in Rio Grande do Sul, like people have died, and like it also looks to me like Alessandro Ambrosio and Fernando Mota, both of them, but more specifically Alessandro Ambrosio, like they're sharing these kind of like you know, oh, donate to the disaster, or here's whatever the thing is. And it's like, you're directly responsible because you're like participating in this game that's messing with me, and Yahweh is making a point. Jesus, you know, Christo Redemptor is making a point like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, actually, like you're doing wrong. And so, and then Alessandra Ambrosio shared that like, she shared a post. It's like, April showers bring May flowers, and it's like, even in May, it was like drowning your people in Brazil. I mean, do you really not care? Or are you that tone deaf? Like, maybe it's that one. Maybe she's that just unaware and stupid. I don't think so. Seems pretty like sharper than she lets on to me, or some, at least whoever's using her seems as such. But like, I mean, I'm just like, holy shit, are you this tone deaf? I can't be. I think she's mocking the situation. That's what I actually think. And I even posted that on my Instagram story. It's like, it seems to me like she like, you know, it feels like the Laughing Octopus, right? It feels like a boss fight in a video game. Specifically Laughing Octopus because I made the YouTube video like that, but there's also the, you know, I consider Laughing Octopus like analogous to like Doc Ock, right? Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man. So is this the Spider-Man joke? Is that, I think even the Stephanie Drewston making a Spider-Man joke thing backfired. It's like, no, doesn't look like that's a problem because I do think that this seems pretty analogous. Or they seem pretty analogous, and then it seems like what's going on in my situation, like she's literally that character. I mean, it's even the thing is like some kind of South American research lab, but my guess it's more like an American research lab, or I don't know, you know, whatever. I will say whatever it is like, yo, your people in Brazil are like being drowned because of it. And it's like, is it Matthew Ray Wilkins making that decision? It's connected to me. It's that you're being used to hurt me and like violate my reality in a way that you should not be. And so, at least that's what it seems. And you and Anja, like you're using your daughter in that capacity too. And so Yahweh God is saying, you know, the only God that actually exists, or by the end of it, the only God that's not going to be in a burning lake of torture forever. So, I mean, actually, so just like it seems really tone deaf, and it seems pretty absurd that it's still going on. And I don't think it's tone deaf. I think she's like lost her mind. I think she's just a tool used by like whatever it is that's trying to take me out. She has not proven otherwise. Every day it seems like more of the same. It sucks. I think the whole idea of like Adam and Eve, where it's like something taken from inside of me, like, because I think every person has this, but like, but I think I was given like it's like, okay, if you can accomplish this task with this person, you get everything. Even if you weren't Yahweh beforehand, if you can prove this out, you'll still get everything. It'll still like, you'll still be able, even in a secular world, you'd be able to prove out scientifically that they've wronged you to like a human court that doesn't believe. And then if you get enough of your stuff back, it will open a door enough that, you know, it just kicks it. Like at a certain point, strike something around here with lightning, and it's just very obviously connected to something that's going on with me. All this that's been building, all these people getting hurt by this, like the news here, I feel like y'all would be somewhat responsible for the amount of people being hurt because you haven't covered this, right? I mean, anybody that knows about this, anybody that's trying to cover this up or keep this, like, whatever in the Truman Show, if that's something like that is going on, or Nerve, like whatever is keeping my reality, like, shadow banned. You know, Revelation ends with the ban will be lifted. Like, if it's a bunch of people around me here in Houston that have, like, surrounded my reality here in Houston, my family's reality, it's like, y'all would be dealt with harshly, right? And so why the news, who seems to be, like, I've definitely reached out, and it looks like certain of the news here sees it and is, like, playing part in this, like, keeping it under wraps thing. And it's like, first of all, you're hypocrites and not real journalists, if that's the case. Is that the case? I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. Actually, I'm trying to figure it out. If I'm saying stop, you should stop. Like, you should actually cover what's going on. Clearly, there's a pattern that connects to this. I'm not just being not being hypocritical, but I'm not just being critical for no reason, right? Like, I'm tired of this situation, and I'm tired of being crippled down by this. But, you know, the thing that I was talking about with, like, it feels like the thing with, at least in my case, like, this is a strong example, right? If I'm very much attached to this person because she's like a parasite, like attached herself to me in this capacity, or if she's representative of some other woman. Like, I'm Adam, she's Eve, right? Some snake, like literally the whole point of the snake in the garden is it's not a talking snake. It's literally a diviner enchanter, like a wizard. But not just a wizard, like a warlock or some kind of wizard, diviner enchanter, right? That's what it is, a nakash in Hebrew. Some person has told her, seemingly, like, to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? Like, to decide for yourself what is right and wrong, despite the fact that there's an objective right and wrong, like, clearly. And then, not just that, but basically, in my instance, I'm saying, like, this thing has, like some snake has basically taken some woman connected to me, and I'm using Alessandro Ambrosio as a good example because there seems to be a pattern of connectedness, or like what's going on with me seems to be matching something that's going on with her, or something's trying to connect us, or she or something is like a parasite attached to me that I'm trying to like remove, and some of that is like shining a light on the situation, it seems. But that some kind of snake, like imagine whoever this woman is, but let's pretend it's her, or Andre Ambrosio, or whatever, both of them. Just, the idea of woman, right? Like singular, like wife. If you have a harem of wives, it's your wife, okay? So like singular woman. Imagine some kind of snake tells them to do something other than what you want, and they're connected to you, not this snaky fucking person who's telling them to do whatever else. And then what they do hurts you to the point where like you can barely stand it, like physically. It like physically hurts you and them, but then they get angry at you because like confusion. Like they're an animal, sometimes you hurt an animal, or like an animal's like hurt, it acts, it lashes out at people because it's confused. And like, instead of engaging that, hey, you let someone other than me, or other than Yahweh God, tell you what to do, some snaky man who's used you and probably used your sexuality in a way that is unbearable to me, right? And yet you still want to lead this situation and act like you're the one with the knowledge of how to get out of it. And it's hurting not just me, but like, this is why I'm using this example of Alessandro Ambrosio. It's hurting like the people literally where your family, if we're connected, it's hurting like both our roots, right? And the places where we're from are both being flooded at the same time, along with seemingly whatever's going on in China, where I think something in China's watching. Because like they seem to have some of the most extreme weather stuff. I mean, I think it's people from all around that shouldn't be watching my reality, or watching my reality. And honestly, you should feel fucking terrible. What you're doing is evil, and it's killing the people even you love most. It's killing humanity. That you can make an example of me like this, because I think being the guy that's most clearly attached to the spirit of Yahweh, it's like, not good to make an example in that capacity. Or like that to me. Like that to anybody, but I guess the idea of like making a public humiliating kind of execution that you alienate somebody. But if I caught it, like almost like, again, hey, Spider-Man, it's like Bucky, or what's his name? White Wolf, the Red Soldier, what's the Winter Soldier. He has the metal arm. I don't know, insert other thing that might be sync up with. But like, they swing it, and then it's like, I like caught it, and I'm like, oh cool, you got a metal arm? You got a metal gear? Cool. You got a giant mecha? That's representative of me catching Islam just be like in the palm of my hand, because it's like such a clown ass fake religion that is so clearly a knockoff of the Bible. It's not even, it's like absurd that these people would try to go on about it when like Western apologists just can tear to pieces. If you have enough knowledge of the Bible, you can tear the Quran and Islam to pieces. There's nothing that they can stand on. So all this revisionism that's going on is like kind of ridiculous to me. And all this like again, nothing ever actually forces like the news, when the news is doing its stuff. This is why I'm like kind of bitching about what's going on with the news, and it's a valid. It's that like, the news should be used to make Islam stand on what it's saying. I'm clearly standing on it, and people are using every fucking evil tactic they can to like try to like make it so that I can't. And I'm still doing it enough more so than I see anything from Islam or anything from any other religion that exists on this planet. Any wizard. And by the time there is something that can conjure up enough evil magic fake deity to like do something similar, we're at the 1260 days. And that's the false prophet. That's the beast from the earth, So like, anyway, hopefully we're getting close, because I'm just so tired of this, especially this stuff with the women that are like being used to like fuck a fan. Like, it's so wrong. Like, whatever's going on with Alessandra and Andre, bro, really, it's so wrong. Like, especially the fact that it came immediately on the heels of whatever happened with Stephanie Houston. And that people pretended like it wasn't happening. Like it wasn't really fucking obviously happening. You should all feel really terrible. Like that's so shameful and fucking evil. I mean, actually, it is laughably so. And that it didn't work is also to your shame. It's not like I'm a particularly strong, like, physically person. It's not like I'm a big person. It's not like, it's like, it's like in the Bible where it talks about, it's like, Jacob, you're the least of these tribes. You're the small one, right? But, like, I think Yahweh chooses something small to, like, make a point. That it's not the thing itself. It's not like me that's doing it. It's Yahweh. Yahweh giving me the ability to do it. The dynamis. The dynamo? Yeah. I mean, actually, that's what it would be in Greek. That's what it is in Greek. to strike something close enough with lightning. I gotta power up like it's Dragon Ball Z. Oh my god. It's hard for me to not like try to find humor and like deal with this through some kind of humorous, at least funny to me. It's like 9 in the morning, so it's like way brighter than earlier, where you could see everything. I just saw like the reflection off the puddles in the ground, but. I feel like this whole slow process, though, it's like doing it in this way. I'm stretching. Thank you, by the way. But like doing it in this way, when I do strike something close with lightning, or like just grasp the power of whatever, I spend enough time being super overly reasonable because you always like forcing me to, but that like. By the time I do just have the ability to go, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, if I'm doing that, you deserve it. Right? If this place gets hit by like 3 Hurricane Harveys in like 3 weeks later on this year or something, or next year, it's like, well, then you deserve it. Seemed like Hurricane Harvey happened the year that people specifically were fucking, like, that year was so difficult. Like, I literally was homeless for a while. It was the year that Dynamo lied on me to my parents. It was like, it's just so many things were piling up. It was like Yahweh saying to the people around here, you're pissing God off. Jesus' Father, not happy like here to heal you, Jesus. Here with a sword that cut you to pieces, Jesus. That one, you're pissing him off. And you could have happy hippie Jesus, but you're choosing the vengeful, I'm gonna cut you to pieces and throw you into infinite burning torture, Jesus. You chose it because you're acting like rapey shitheads and liars and slanderous assholes. So it's deserved, which, yeah, pretty much is and was. I don't feel bad about anything because, you know what I feel bad about? It feels like, I feel bad because I physically feel bad because something's been crippling me since I was a child. And it won't stop, and it's like actively something that people could stop, and yet they're choosing not to because they want to hold to some vestige of like power that they wasn't theirs and that they should not be having. Like, they aren't going to be able to hold on to forever, and like whoever's participating, it's like, yeah, vengeful, cut you to pieces, Jesus is coming. There's a reason the sixth seal thing that happens in Revelation is like literally like the generals of the world and like all these people in positions of important places, but also like it just like it lists like the governors and whatever, if that's not a nod to something that's going on here or abroad, but like the people in positions of political authority, like they all run to the mountains and caves and say like, hide us from the wrath of the Lamb and the one who sits on the throne. Mostly probably because all these people did something, like, they're aware of this, and instead of like changing, they like keep the world going as it is. And this place sucks. I mean, honestly, it could be. There's glimpses of it being awesome, but like there's the direction we're headed now is just like, oh, fuck. All right, we got round 2 coming. It's currently over Katie. So, here, give me a minute. I'm gonna. All right. Said. Interesting chat with my mom. And you know, I decided to come back because I could tell the second wave is getting close. You can hear the lightning. I mean, you can hear the thunder. You don't really have thunder without lightning, so this isn't Thunder Lab for a reason. You need the lightning for that. Again, it's going to be coming from that way. One thought that I have is that, you know, I've said this in like a bunch of lightning labs before. Maybe it's been a few lightning labs since I've said it, but you know, there's periods of inactivity, you know, as waiting for the wave to come by, and just having faith, like continuing to believe, like, okay, see something, I can affect, like I will show that I can affect something, just have to give it some time, and like faith over time, when not seeing something, eventually will yield the result of seeing something. Just continued belief that it will happen, that Yahweh will show something. He will be in agreement. Jesus will be in agreement. The Spirit of Yahweh will show something. And then, show something. It's happened enough times too where you see some kind of spectacular kind of lightning at the end of a video after waiting, where it seems like it caps off the video or something. Like when you see me doing this, I'm trying to like grip in with my foot properly. It's just it's physically impeded. Like you can literally look at my foot with if I put the webcam on my foot, something's going on where like it almost looks like, you know, I mean it clearly looks like, because there is a physical issue going on where it's like my right pinky toe seems disconnected. And so when you see me doing this, it's me trying to grip into the ground properly so that I can actually engage the far extremity, the far right extremity here. Like that, complete outside into my heel. Like what I've been saying, I said this a year ago, I'll say it again. At some point, an AI is just going to be, like people could do this, but at some point you're just going to be able to query an AI and say, hey, here's this question I have about this video or these series of videos. Can you scan them and tell me? And it's like, when I'm doing this thing with my foot, what is the percentage of times that you see some kind of electrical response immediately? Or when I do, I mean, to the news here in Houston, how many times do I have to do this before you guys stop pretending this isn't happening? Like, literally, how many times? I don't see anybody else being able to affect the weather at all. That I have an ability clearly showing over years. Even just that I have like storm videos that you don't see anywhere else. Like the intensity of the type. Like what goes on in them. The long form. Definitely felt a strong stretch in my lower back in a place that, like I can say that the yoga really affected my lower back a lot. There's a crazy lightning strike. I can feel this deep in my muscles. Oh my gosh. I can also feel it in my upper back too. I just haven't engaged it at all since I did the yoga. Oh. Oh. It feels like my upper back is about to cramp. Or is cramping. Oh my. Or I'll ask Yahweh. Yahweh. Yeah. Yo. Show something incredible or spectacular, some kind of very impressive lightning strike to be like undeniably something that people would not be able to just like write off as or pretend isn't happening or something, you know? Be very helpful to me at least. I feel like I'm at my wit's end. Yeah, that was maybe quite a while ago, actually. Anyone who was in Dallas that played shows at wit's end. But at the same time, I mean, I also feel like it's just getting to the point where I'm just like, there's like, I mean, it really is a marathon, so you gotta just keep going, trudging through it, but again, but like knowing it's that too. So we'll see. We'll see if we get something here. Whether it's immediate or, you know, gotta have some delayed gratification. All of a sudden it's just coming straight through the window. I wish that I had just a camera that was like outside, that I didn't have to do this whole setup. That way I could also have like a separate audio tracks too, so I could just, because I understand that people, like a lot of the posts that I get are like people saying like, they just want no talking. It's like, well, I do put up the GoPro videos and that one does not have any talking at all. But I can understand that. I just don't make the video for you. I make this more for me than anything else, and more to show that, very clearly I affect the weather to some degree. Whether you believe it or not, I don't care. In fact, I think your lack of belief is why you wouldn't. Because I don't think that this isn't something that, as I've said multiple times in these videos, that anybody could be able to access the power of Yahweh and the truth of Yahweh. And I have knocked and seeked, and I'm still seeking and knocking and, having the door open for me. Suppose that's the Sixth Church thing, huh? But also stopped kind of time stamping the videos, just because it's such a laborious process. So if you want to just add timestamps, like in the comments, if you happen to watch it and you want to add timestamps, do it. At some point, I'm going to be able to tell the AI, you know, hey, copy the format that I've already done these in, like whatever pattern you can find, and like try to keep with that. Or if you see a way to improve it, do that. But if you're a person when you want to do that, okay, you're welcome to. I'll pin your comment. Like one thing also is like in some of the videos, what I find like impactful, maybe not, might not be what other people find impactful. So probably if people comment it like, you know, it stood out to them, and so that would also be like a, you know, be helpful, because like I'm saying, what stands out to me might be completely different to what stands out to other people. Ooh, that was nice. I don't know if you could hear that, but something just popped like deep. It wasn't like a popping your knuckles thing. It was like that was like an actual something deep in, like whether scar tissue or cartilage, like something that like popped. There's a lightning when I got into that. Like, speaking of Hurricane Harvey, right? I get this feeling that these hurricane names have like some importance. So like, did something happen that like, or you know, the name of these storms? So like, Tropical Storm Allison prior to Hurricane Harvey was the most extreme rain event around here that I can remember. Did something happen with like my neighbor Allison Payton that like caused Tropical Storm Allison? I mean, is that like something that's going on? Or something that has happened or something? I mean, I definitely feel like when I was a kid, something happened where like, when whatever the thing was that was messing with me initially happened, the storm stuff around me, I think, went fucking crazy. If I remember that correctly. But almost like something I cannot remember whatever it is. I only get glimpses of it. I almost feel like I remember like a tornado touching down or something. Almost literally like the Wizard of Oz. Except it wasn't like a tornado that like wheels you away or something. It's like, you know, I guess the idea of Yahweh takes like flight, you know what I mean? I think some of it is like, you could literally like when you have it like I think by the end of this whole process of like, you know, conquering the seven churches of Asia, being victorious at the seven churches of Asia, I'd literally be able to pull weather, the clouds or something down to something that I could fly on like a Nimbus, like you know, Goku, right? Even though that's literally just a knockoff of Yahweh on the, you know, on the Nimbus from Isaiah 19 or from elsewhere in the Old Testament. You know, all sorts of knockoff deities did these, like took these legends and had versions of their own. Just none of these stories or myths are like they aren't historically accurate, and they aren't, like, none of them are coherent. Whereas the Bible is like so coherent and logical, it is absurd. I mean, it's not absurd, it's like just super coherent and logical. Even the things that come out as absurd are like, in a world where those other things do exist and there's other spiritual entities to show that, yo, there is one that actually does exist. And seemingly that Yah is, you know, compared to all these others, very obviously to me is interested in like a reality that doesn't suck for people. Like, doesn't suck. Literally the whole point of the Garden of Eden, it was a garden of paradise. Like, and just the woman, like, again, you know, I brought up this story with like the snake or whatever, and I was like using Alessandro Ambrosio as an example, but like, you know, the idea of like, you know, the Garden of Eden literally being a garden of luxury that Adam and Eve were put into, and then only through listening to the snake, listening to the, you know, diviner enchanter character or whatever, is does humanity fall out of the garden of luxury, where if they eat the other fruit, they don't die. And all our toil comes because of this, you know, they say it's an original sin, right? I think the idea is like, they missed the point, and we're still missing the point because of how wrong the original thing was. Okay, well, I think that's going on in my reality, and I think like it's something that's keeping whoever Eve is, whatever this thing is, these women or women are being used to like cramp down on my reality. It's like, you're missing the point, and we're missing the garden of love. Like, there is no amount of money that's going to buy you eternal life. And you aren't going to get it through technology. Just, you know, especially not before, like, people would destroy the world. So, I mean, just actually, that one's really fucking obvious to me. Should be really obvious to people. All these people claiming it's climate change. First of all, I think that pisses Yahweh off because I think y'all know Yahweh's, like, you can see just the fact that I can affect it at all, and people are, like, in ways that kind of upends the standard narrative of what reality is and what science is or what reality is as described by science alone. I think science through a Christian lens makes a lot of sense, actually. But without it, it doesn't really, this place doesn't really, it's not logical, and it is very difficult, and it doesn't really make sense. But I think that we're about to get another wave. Obviously, you can hear that lightning, hear that thunder. I can see the lightning. Like, there's just rain on the lenses, so I wipe them off, but I'm kind of confused because there's a drop of water in the middle of each lens, yet the camera wouldn't really affect it. Always confused about how that works, because it was in front of, there's literally rain on all three lenses in front of the thing, but it wouldn't have obstructed, so I'm just like, I don't know how that's working out. Just a weird thought that I'm having right now, but like, okay, well, good job, iPhone. Good job, Apple. Whatever digital wizardry you do or whatever. No. I don't actually mean that they're wizards. I mean, some people could be wizards. Hold on. So the other day, actually, in the video right before one of the larger, pretty much the lightning strike from the video that I timestamped, there's like only really one, two, but so in Lightning Lab 16, I said that dishes were about 75% full. That's where they are now, and we had a rain earlier, and we're almost 2 hours into this one. So that's how much rain dropped in a very short amount of time in that last video. Like, that was only maybe 15 minutes worth of rain, or 20 minutes worth of rain. 30, I don't know. It wasn't that much. It wasn't that long. You know, some of this I was time stamping, you know, the lightning and stuff, and my decision on it was just kind of exhausting. Unless there's one that I really like remember. At this point, I've already. It's not going to be the pattern over time that like would convince people. It's got to be like I'm going to have to strike something with lightning. So you know, very obviously like take control of it. You know what I mean? I do think if I just strike something very obviously one time, then it kind of kicks open the door for it's going to be impossible to deny it, and like it's going to look negligent on the news. Like it's not just going to be my opinion that it's going to be negligent for the news not to cover it. It's going to be like there's a video of a dude striking something with lightning on the internet, like clearly in control of the lightning, and and for some reason, like people don't want to cover it. Like, so even though I think that's already how it is now, is the pattern of them. At a certain point, it just gets beyond what's going to be kind of passable. I don't see anything like this on YouTube. My videos are the only videos that I see where I see anybody that looks like they even have any effect on the weather. So, crazy to see how like bright it looks off in that direction. It doesn't look super dark the other way, but it's just quite a contrast because it's so like just a normal day on the other side. Okay. As much as I would like to see some more crazy lightning or whatever, make this the video that I strike some with lightning. I guess I could still have conditions that are red, but actually, it's not that I'm even thinking about that. It's like I think I might make a time lapse. I might end this video, so like the actual lightning lab, but then make a time lapse of the GoPro footage. So I might just leave the GoPro on until it runs out of battery or something. But it doesn't look like there's more for this area, even though I thought there would be more just a few moments, like just like at the beginning of the video. That's what I meant. It's like the models have not been able to figure out what's going on recently with these storms. Like, they've really lacked clarity on a lot of things, whereas at times they can be very accurate, but like this batch of storms, like the stuff that's causing the flooding north of Houston, and like even today, it's been lacking. But yeah. Well, I guess that means I'm gonna end this here. Like I said, I'm gonna keep the GoPro on outside for a bit, and we'll see what happens with that. As far as, just because I would like to see the time lapse of like, I can tell it's gonna clear up pretty quickly, and so I'd like to see that time lapse of like, hey, the storm's here, the storm's gone. But okay, hope you enjoyed. That's gonna be it for this video. I guess I'll strike something with lightning in the next video. Okay, well, hope you enjoyed, and anything else? It's a 2-hour-long video. If I want to say something, I better say it in the video. No, that's all. That's it. So, well, it's been Lightning Lab 18. 2 Lightning Labs done today. So we'll, guess we'll reconvene on the next one. I'm sure it won't be that long from now. Seems like the storms are pretty consistently hitting. I also think this week is supposed to be, like, at least the forecast for this week is going to be crazy. So, I can believe that because I'm still pretty pissed off. I just like, some of the idea, I guess, is like taking that being super pissed off and like focusing it on like trying to be, I don't know, on something like this, or on whatever else, right? And I guess it's the same idea as like no-fap or semen retention or something. It's like taking this energy that you would otherwise have and like using it in a way that's maybe productive as compared to destructive, at least individually destructive. So it seems to manifest itself then as like a literal, like storm or something like that, right? But, which would make sense. But, anyway, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope that was, I hope it was interesting. I don't know. There was some interesting lightning in 17, like in the last video from earlier, and there's at least a few. Like, one thing I did notice, there's a number of lightning strikes that did seem to just very obviously sync to with what I did. But there was nothing like so spectacular. Well, I don't know. I'd have to watch it back on the thing, and I don't want to timestamp it. So I guess if you see something, timestamp it for me, please. I will. If you timestamp these things, I'll pin your comment. If it's just a timestamp comment, it's helpful. for sure. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this one. So hope you enjoyed. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time. Later. Yeah.